everybody. Just waiting for a couple of people to take their seats. Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming today. We have Dr. Rojas back for another presentation. She's here from MCR Chiropractic. And last time I think she was here about back pain, which many people suffer from, and now headaches. And I actually think somebody called to cancel today because they had a bad headache. So how appropriate, right? Anyway, thank you, Dr. Rojas.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. So great to see you guys again. So many familiar faces. I'm so glad that everyone's doing well. I hope everyone had such a great holiday season, and I'm so glad the sun came out today. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Like Debbie said, I'm Dr. Magali Rojas, although if you see me in the office, most patients and anyone that walks by will call me Maggie or Dr. Maggie. So it's great to see you guys here again. Today, we're going to talk about stopping headaches. And what are headaches? What do headaches mean? Why do we get headaches? I really like this image because I think it's quite comical. I might hear that every once in a while. The pain starts in my husband's lower back, then it travels up his spine to his neck, and then it comes out of his mouth and into my ears, and that's why I get these headaches. My mom has definitely used that line once or twice. So I would like to, similar like the last time we met, I want to have an idea of what do you know about headaches? Let's make this more of a dialogue, of a conversation, and let's see what you know. So who is mostly affected by headaches? Is it men over 50, women, teenage females, teenage males, or third grade band teachers? Any guesses? Any guesses? All the above? Women, band teachers. The band teacher is a really good one. Truly, everyone does suffer, but statistically speaking, teenage females are the most susceptible. So this is a massive problem that happens. Over 39 million people in the United States will suffer from a headache at least once in their life, and over 1 billion people worldwide will experience a migraine. These are just some statistics here. The other thing that I would like to mention that women often have more severe, more frequent migraines due to changes in hormones. And that could be through teenage years, that could be later into adulthood, but a lot of chemical changes in the bodies can result in headaches. Another question, what health problem is the most disabling? Is it anxiety? Is it low back pain? Is it diabetes, migraine headaches, COPD? We have a migraine headaches. Are we kind of in agreement? I see a lot of head nods. This is correct. However, low back pain is number one. Funny enough. So low back pain is number one. Migraine headaches is number two, most disabling. Very good guesses. So headaches, specifically migraines, are ranked number 6 amongst the most issues that create disabilities. And part of that is lack of concentration, lack of focus, inability of bringing your energy levels up, so many factors that come with that too. And they're very expensive. Headaches, especially migraines, cost about $11 billion in direct costs and another $11 billion indirectly. This includes like getting tested with neurology, Advil, Tylenol, anything taken over the counter, hot packs, ice packs, all of those costs add up. I gave you the answers here, I'm sorry. Pretending we don't see any answers, what has found not to be a cause of headaches? That's fair enough, everything. So we talked about this a little bit. Stress will affect headaches, hormones, injury, a traumatic event will affect headaches, like a car accident. Posture will affect your headaches, diet, the weather, and especially lack of sleep.
I only get headaches like when I'm sick.
Oh, that's the worst too. And when you're sick and you have a fever, the chemical effects that are going on in your body change internal pressure in your head, getting really hot, then getting really cold, getting really hot, getting really cold, and that can also create a headache. That's probably part of it. No. Headaches are triggered by the following things. We've already have talked about this: stress, hormones, changes in structure, specifically how your joints are shaped. Arthritic changes can affect headaches. Disc issues can affect headaches. Standing around slumped forward can affect your neck posture, and that can affect your headaches. The weather, lack of sleep, and even our diet, having too much sugar, not enough water, that too. Lastly, although I don't think this is my last question, are headaches the same? What do we think? I love the unison. I love it. Correct. No, all headaches are not the same. In fact, there are so many different types of patterns where your head is located. Is it one side? Is it both sides? Is it on the front of your head? Is it in the back of your head? Do you feel it in your eye? Do you feel it like in between your nose? All these little descriptors, all these little specifics will tell us why are you having a headache and where is it coming from. A dangerous belief is that headaches are the problem. What does this mean to you? If anything at all. I love that. I'll repeat that. This lovely young lady said that headaches are not the problem. It's usually because of something else, and you result in getting a headache. I really like that. Any other thoughts? I love that. Nice gentleman in the back said headaches are a symptom. I 100% agree with this. Unfortunately, headaches is not the problem. Typically, something else is going on that results in a headache. So a headache is classified by pain or discomfort in different areas of the head or the face. And there are 4 main categories of different types of headaches. There's the traditional migraine. There are tension type headaches, which we will talk the most about today. Cluster headaches, which we'll also touch on. And sometimes a secondary issue or a long list of different conditions. That's usually can be more of a serious underlying, such as, is there a cancer in the mind? So different types of headaches. We've touched upon these as well. What I wanted to show you here are the different pictures. Typically, if you have a band-like headache across your head, that can be more described as a tension type headache. That could be more of the stress-related that we go through or lack of sleep that we go through. When we go through cluster headaches, where we feel a headache in one of our eyes or sometimes dead center on our head, sometimes that can be more related to a sinus pressure headache. I don't know about you, but spring is coming soon. Does anyone have seasonal allergies? Yep. Do you sometimes get a headache? Yep. So this is a very common type of headache when you have a headache just right at the nose and the forehead area. So stress headaches. Stress headaches are also known as tension type headaches. I'm just curious. Retired life must be so fun. What are some stressors in your life? Say that again. Any stressors? You're telling me you live a stress-free life. No. Kids. Oh, my son is calling me again. Or whatever that might be. We still go through different stresses, and stress as a 10-year-old kid thinking I'm not getting a cupcake today and my life is over, versus stress when you're 30 years old and like, oh man, how are we going to pay the mortgage this month? Or kids are coming out of school. I need to hurry up and catch them before they, get lost coming home. And then stresses when you are 55 of, I got to still take care of my mother or my father, or I have to look out for my adult child. There's a lot that goes into it. And unfortunately, you would think that the older we get, stress decreases, but life has a funny way of just keeping us on our toes. One of the biggest things that stress does for us is that it keeps our mind running. Has anyone, when you go to bed at night, you feel like you can't fall asleep because you're still thinking about things? Right. Stress will affect how we sleep, how comfortably we're able to sleep. Even sitting at a computer while you're working and you're so focused on something, that is still manifesting stress into your neck, into the muscles of the neck, and into the nerves of the spine. So typically, when you get assessed, whenever a doctor is assessing your headaches, they're going to also look at your neck. They're going to look at the nerves that come out of your neck, and that'll also clue them in on, these headaches are really coming from tension, from stress in your life. One big thing I want to mention here is posture. I want to take a moment to look at this picture, because I think it's really interesting that our head can also create tension for our neck. And one of the biggest reasons why we want to try to keep an upright posture is to make our neck work a little bit less, versus if we have our head slowly more and more forward. Now your upper back and your neck has to carry the weight of your head a little bit heavier. And that can stress the muscles and create more tension. Sinus headaches. These are no fun. They're hard to get rid of. They're typically chemically induced, specifically the chemicals of the pollen that's in the air. Sometimes medications can create headaches. So if you start a new medication and you start to notice you're getting more frequent headaches, I urge you to call your doctor and let them know, because it might be the medication's a little bit too strong or not strong enough, and they might just need to change some things within medication. So if you are taking a new medication and you start to experience headaches, definitely call your doctor and have them have a conversation about that. One thing that we can do to decrease sinus types headache, especially during allergy season, is diet. Watching how much sugar we eat, watching how much dairy we consume, or even how much white flour we consume, like in our bread or cupcakes. I'm sorry. I love cupcakes too. Migraine headaches. As we mentioned earlier, migraines are the 6th most disabling disease in the world, and they're very expensive. Billions of dollars worth expensive. 9 out of 10 people have reported that they cannot perform daily activities of how debilitating it is. Typically, migraine headaches can actually come from either the neck or the lower back. Sometimes migraine headaches are hormone produced, whether you have too much of one thing or not enough of something. Sleep patterns will affect migraines. If you're pre-diabetic, you might be more susceptible to migraines. And if we're not moving at all, if we are just sitting and not even catching some sunlight or going for a quick 5-minute walk, lack of movement can also create headaches too. The dangerous belief is that nothing can be done. This is a myth that I would like to just squash right off the bat. When we have a headache, is there anything that we can do? Like, if you have a headache, what are some things that you do? I heard Tylenol, I heard aspirin, a cold cloth. I heard a cold cloth. I love the cold cloth. Anything else? Sleep. Sleep is a really good one too. I love it. I'm so happy to hear that, because there's a lot of things that even while we have a headache that we can do. And on a preventative measure, if you are suffering from headaches, let's say 2 headaches a week, 3 headaches a week, that's a lot. And things that we can do is taking care of our personal health. Are we getting enough sleep at the night, right? Taking responsibility for your own body from an internal perspective. Am I going on a walk? Am I getting some fresh air? I know that we're still in winter and snow may or may not come, and I am so sorry if I just jinxed us. But even going outside for a breath of fresh air, that will also help ease our mind to decrease our overall stress. So what does health mean to us? Typically, this got cut off a little bit, but typically there's either you're sick or you're healthy, right? It's either one or the other. And in reality, there's three parts of it. There is you're sick, there is you're healthy, and then there's a middle ground where we're not sick, but we're not healthy yet. We're kind of neutral. We're very neutral. So, a good way to think is that being healthy is normal. We want to be healthy. That is your body working much smarter, not working harder, and you're being more efficient when we're eating, when we're taking daily walks. The nervous system is the master system, your spine is a suit of armor, and modern life is unfortunately just unnaturally stressful. I sometimes think about, back in the 1800s, before there were cell phones, what did people do for fun? I don't know. If I was a farmer back then, what would I do on a Tuesday night for fun? I don't know. So I like to think of our wellness as more of a spectrum, of a continuing spectrum, where we have being very unhealthy, where we're premature to death because we just forget to take care of ourselves completely. And then there is the far end where we have high level of wellness, where we are still working out, we're still hanging out, where we are challenging our mind, we're challenging our bodies physically, we're watching what we eat, everything that you picture on an ideal health magazine, let's say, on the highest level of stress. Most of us are somewhere in the middle. I am also somewhere in this middle here. Don't worry. We're all here together. But it's never a bad thing to continue to strive to be better. What's one way that we can do that? One way that you're already doing it is education. Continuously learning something new, right? And it doesn't just have to be learning about headaches, but even learning how to knit for the first time, or learning how to tie 15 different types of knots for the first time, right? Educating will always keep your mind and your brain stimulated, and that's one way that you can also promote health. Once we get to the more unhealthy, when we have stopped taking care of ourselves, our bodies start to give us signs. Our body starts to try to speak to us and try to let us know, like, hey, something's not right and I'm trying to get your attention. That's when we start to develop symptoms, right? We've talked about low back pain in the past. In this case, headaches. Now your head is starting to hurt. Why is my head starting to hurt? What is my body telling me that I'm lacking, because I don't typically get headaches, so why am I getting them now? These are all signs to tell your body speaking to you that something is wrong. It breaks my heart when I meet someone or I meet a patient and they tell me, I've been dealing with headaches for 15 years. This is my normal. And I tell them, headaches every day for 15 years is not normal. We need to take care of this now. And then if we truly ignore these headaches and we continue to ignore all these symptoms, then disability can take in place, and then we are in a spiral downward loop. So whenever you go to the doctor, and whether it's a chiropractor, whether it's your primary care, and you bring up, hey, Dr. So-and-so, I am starting to get headaches. We've talked about that headaches are truly the symptoms. So it's in the bottom portion there. We've eluded what might be some of the causes, but we haven't talked much about the cause yet. And then we have problems. What do we think are, so we know the symptoms are our headaches. What do we think could be a cause of the headaches? Any thoughts? Car crash. Say that one more time. Sinus problems. So physical issues to the face. That's great. Absolutely. So sinus issues, physical issues to the neck, anything that is going on within the head, those are the causes. And the problem, as this gentleman said here, could have been a car accident. It could have been the stress factors. All of those are contributing to the structural issues that are going on in our neck and in our eyes. Wonderful. Absolutely. Absolutely. So hearing and smell. I know smell is another one. Has anyone ever walked in a room that had like such a distinct smell and you just kind of get a headache right away? Yeah, that happens too. So noise. I don't know why I pointed to my ear, but noise and smell, as well as vision, right? So if you've been in a dark room all day and all of a sudden you see the bright light, and you're like, oh, that hurts my head, right? So eyes, nose, ears, all those things are all stimulated by nerves. And if your nerves are just kind of hanging out here all day, the noise is not too bad, smells are pretty neutral, the light is neutral, and then all of a sudden you just jump really high. Noise, just jumping super loud, everything super bright, smells super strong. That change, that neurological like information that your ears, your nose, your eyes are receiving, that will sometimes result in a headache because your nerves are just overstimulated, that all they can say is, oh, this is too much information for me. I'm going to tell you that this is painful and this is uncomfortable for me. Yeah, so absolutely. It definitely can happen. It stinks.
And this was like a younger woman, like in the like maybe 30s and everything.
Absolutely.
Sometimes if the bright light or something, people tell me, oh no, I'm getting a terrible headache.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. Some people will wear sunglasses to help with that. Yes, sir. I assume you are correct, good sir. Indeed. So imbibition typically means lack of nerve information coming in, which actually can be induced by increased alcohol too, because then your nerve function decreases. So if you didn't hear, he asked if loss of imbibition means alcohol intake. And although it doesn't mean it directly, alcohol intake can decrease your nerve function, which that results in loss of imbibition. Very good. Very, very good. So, spinal joint dysfunction. This is the joints of the neck not working well. And if the joints of the neck are not working well, we can't move as well as we want to, right? Movement is lotion to the body. Movement is medicine to the body. So if we cannot move properly, our nerves start to get irritated, the discs start to get irritated, our muscles start to fight against the joints because it's trying to pull this way, pull that way. So oftentimes addressing joint dysfunction in the neck and getting good movement going on in the neck, in the back, in the low back will help with your overall health as well. Questions about this? Wonderful. Feeling versus function. One thing that I think is so interesting about the nerves is that it is truly a 3D structure. We have the part of your nerve that focuses on movement, on the actual things that you do. We have part of our nerves that focuses on our intestines and it's called the autonomic nerves, where it focuses on our hormones, our energy, our food digestion, our heart health, everything through there. And then there's the last portion of the sensory nerves, where when you feel someone touch you, that's your nerves telling you, oh, something is touching you. Or if you feel a breeze across your neck, oop, those are your nerves telling you that there's wind touching you. So I think it's so amazing that our nerves are such 3D structures that it tells us, it helps us move, it helps us feel, and it helps our body function together. So we have a headache. What can we do? First thing is to recognize that our body is telling us that something is wrong. Another thing that we can do is ask and talk about it. Talk to your primary doctors or talk to a chiropractor first. The American College of Physicians support chiropractic care as a way to help us stop headaches. One of my biggest philosophy is that I want everyone to be a self-advocate to their own health. I want everyone to have the tools so that when you have a headache, you know the things that you can do to help them from coming again. My goal as a chiropractor is that you have the tools to take care of yourself too. And I'm just here as a cheerleader and just to help you get to the next step as you need to. So, and what about insurance companies? Do insurance companies support chiropractic? They do. Medicare, fortunately, does pay for chiropractic visits. Unfortunately, they don't pay for the initial exam, but as long as there's a treatment plan in place, they will cover for a full treatment plan, which is great. And to give the idea of, well, how does this exam happen? Even when I go to the doctor, what can I expect when I go to the doctor? The first thing that they're all going to do is have a consultation. Let's have a conversation. What's going on with the neck? What's going on in the back? How often are you getting headaches? Where? How intense? Then they're going to examine. Let's look at your neck. Let's look at the nerves. Let's look how things are moving. Then we're going to talk about educating. You know, what is your lifestyle like? What would you like your lifestyle to look like? How can we get to where you are to where you want to be? And then create a plan together. And that will be more so of the options of what are our treatment options? Are we going to work hard, get rid of this? Are we going to go for additional imaging and work on this together? So this is something that I will talk to my patients a lot about, where when we start care, the first step is consider this intensive care portion of let's get you feeling better. Let's get you into a good place. Let's bring your headache intensities down. Let's decrease them. The next step is to correct it. Okay, great. Our pain has gone down, but does that necessarily mean that we fixed the problem? Not always. Not always. Remember that diagram that we brought, right? Just because we're no longer feeling the symptoms and we're back in this neutral ground does not mean that we're healthy just yet. So that's that middle ground. And then lastly, the last part of care is the wellness care, getting healthier, getting stronger. And that's the great. We've decreased the symptoms. We've corrected issues and dysfunction in the neck. We've corrected posture. We've corrected our ability to sleep. And then the next step is how can we get healthier? And what does a healthy life look like to you? I'm curious, what is a healthy life to you? Pain-free. I love it. Is there anything, if you picture yourself pain-free, what's something that you would love to do? It's a tough one. I heard play sports. I love it. Yes, ma'am. Going on a long hike. I love it. I'm curious. Where, like what mountain, what state, like what kind of a hike would you like to do? Ooh, going to Italy, was it? I love it. Going to Italy. Yes, ma'am. Oh, never mind. I thought I heard something back there. Although I'm also curious, what sport would you want to play? Pickleball. I love it. Absolutely. I hear it gets very competitive out there on the courts. Very competitive. Great. Is there one more thing that you would love to do? Ooh, ambitious. I love it. He said walking a mile in 15 minutes. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. And I think what would be really cool is if you could get some other young folks to challenge you on that walk to see if they can keep up with you. That'd be really cool. That'd be really cool. So what does a treatment visit look like? Okay, you're with the chiropractor, you have a game plan, now you're here for a treatment visit. What do we do? What are we doing? Well, the first thing is that every chiropractor, myself included, is we're going to assess where you're at. We want to know, have there been changes? I want to know what's been working, what's not been working, and what's the current state that we're in right now. After that, we'd give you a world-class treatment, a world-class adjustment, what that might look like, vary person to person. And then ultimately, We're going to talk about breaking our bad habits. We're going to talk about correcting our posture. We're going to talk about getting in more water, getting in more walks, walking faster, whichever way that might look like. And lastly, I truly believe that once you feel better does not mean that you're fixed. We need certain exercises and rehab to get our muscles stronger to sustain ourselves. I've heard amazing things from the chair yoga, chair exercises. How many of you guys are participating? I love it. I love it. I love it. Awesome. Do we like it? Could it be harder? I see a lot of thumbs up. Awesome. That's fantastic. That's a great place to start. Fantastic place to start. Ultimately, with do's and don'ts, I never want anyone to stop living your life. With headaches, I never want that to be a debilitating factor for you. So we would work together to figure out to stop doing the things that are provoking it, to slow down in life, and to ultimately start doing the things that you love to do. And then with posture, we've talked about posture here. Sitting, one of the things that we can do to focus on our posture is bringing our back upright, right? Straightening our low back a little bit, bringing our head back a little bit. I want everyone in this room to slouch. Yes, everyone slouch. Is this comfortable? Not really. But you don't like being slouched? No, it's not fun. Now go ahead and sit up tall. Sit up nice and tall. Everybody bring your head to the right. Good. Everybody bring your head to the left. Doesn't that feel nice? Moving around a little bit, standing nice and tall. Good, good. So things, yes, sir. Sleeping, thank you, yes. One of the things that we can do is change the position that we're in sleeping. How many people here like sleeping on their back? Beautiful. I will talk about back sleeping in a second. How many people like sleeping on their side? Almost everyone. Okay, I love it. And then lastly, how many people like sleeping on their stomach? You are a special breed, definitely. Sleeping on your side. One of the things that you can protect your neck by is by properly sleeping on your side. So I'm going to just stand here in the middle of the room. Let's pretend I'm laying down, and let's pretend the bed is on my left side here, your right. So when I sleep and I have a very flat pillow, I'm going to be this way, right? I'm going to come this way. Maybe I'll bring my arm in there to lift my head a little bit. But when you sleep 8 hours, 5 to 10 hours, depending how well you sleep, this side of your neck, all the joints and the muscles of your neck are going to be squished. That's the equivalence of standing for 5 to 10 hours like this. It's not comfortable. And your joints in that same way will not be comfortable. On the opposite end, if you have a really big pillow and it's a really firm pillow, again, I'm sleeping on this side and I have a really big pillow and I'm pushing this way. Same idea, different direction. Now this side of my neck gets squished, the joints close, and this side of my neck gets overly stretched and is the equivalent of standing and walking around with your head tilted. Not comfortable at all. So the rule of thumb that I always tell my patients is play around with your pillow. Sometimes a firm pillow feels more comfortable. Sometimes a softer pillow feels more comfortable. Whichever feels better for you, stick with it. What matters most is that you have a pillow that's between your shoulder and your head. When you lie down and your shoulders roll in together, that's another factor to consider too. So ideally, you would like your nose to be in line with your belly button. So later tonight when you sleep, I want you to assess your pillow, see if it's too flat, if it's too fluffy, and make that change so that way when you sleep on your side, we're staying neutral as well. Another thing that's really helpful is if your lower back bothers you when you're sleeping, is putting a pillow between your knees. Has anyone ever tried this? Yeah. Did we like it? Was it weird? We did not like it. We did. Some people like it. Some people like it. Some people don't care for it. Yes, ma'am. Blood pooling down the legs. When you're laying on your side, or are you a back sleeper? That's perfect. I recommend it. Absolutely. If circulation is a concern of yours when you're laying on your back, I always recommend putting a pillow underneath your knees, so that way it's similar to like when you're sitting in a chair. So pretending I'm sleeping on my back, my pillow is a good neutral where my head is not pushed forward because the pillow is so big, and I'm not sinking my head back because there's no pillow there. Again, you want to try to keep your head in a neutral position. A great thing for the circulation, or if you have back pain, is to put a pillow or two under your legs so that your feet are elevated. That can really help to just at least sleep comfortably. When you lay on your side for the low back, you want to have a pillow between your knees. This is really helpful so that way, one, your hips can stay neutral and they're not squishing in to one another. So that will help with your low back. And at least your top leg is elevated. So that way that blood flow, it's not as great as when you sleep on your back, but it's better than your legs squishing on top of one another. So that's a really great point. And sometimes, so this gentleman said, sometimes people wake up with a stiff neck, and that is not fun, because then sometimes when your neck is too stiff and you can't move around, you might end up getting a headache with that too. With stomach sleeping, the last type of sleeping, this one's a little bit more difficult because now I'm going to pretend I'm sleeping face forward. Most people will turn their head all the way. So it's the equivalence of walking like this all the time. Not the most comfortable. However, if you play around with your pillows, you can put a pillow on your stomach. And that'll just give you like a little bit of a curve on your back, so that way your back is more comfortable. You can place a pillow under your chest or on the side of your head, so that way your head is not turned all the way, but it's somewhat neutral to slightly turned. So make those modifications if sleeping on your stomach is what's best for you, but it bothers your back a little bit too. Any other questions about sleeping? That was a great one. That's a good question. Is there a best position for sleeping? What do we think? I heard in the back it's all personal. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I love these two answers here, and the answers that were provided were, it depends on the individual, depends what's going on, and it really depends on the person. And then this question here is, yeah, but if everything's perfect in a perfect world, what's the best position to sleep? Yes, sir. I love that answer. A position. So he said the best position is a position that doesn't give you any pain in the morning. This is very true. However, let's say I have no pain when I sleep on my stomach, but after 10 years of sleeping on my stomach, suddenly I can't turn my neck. There's that point too. No. So ultimately, if there was nothing wrong with our body, absolutely nothing wrong, the best position to sleep is your back, is laying flat on your back. However, the best thing that we can do is to listen to our bodies, because sometimes sleeping on our back is not what's comfortable for our body. So unfortunately, the best answer is it really depends on your body. And unfortunately, there is no such thing as a perfect life of no injuries and nothing's wrong, because we all go through something, whether it's a car accident, whether it's playing football as a teenager and somebody swiped you. We all go through different challenges in life that affect our body in different ways. And ultimately, sleep, I could talk about sleep all day. Sleep, the way that you can sleep comfortably is when your mind tells you that you're in a safe place and you're relaxed. One of the reasons, like if you ever traveled, right? Let's say you go and spend the weekend in Maine. The first night is usually the worst night, right? The first time you sleep somewhere, it's the worst thing. Bless you. There's a lot of different sounds. There's a lot of different moving things. Your brain is very alert of what is going around you. But typically the second night, you sleep much better. And it's really more of like your mind telling you, yep, this is a safe place, we can rest. And so the same applies for what position you're in. If your body feels safe when you're laying on your side, because it's a way that you can protect your organs, you can protect yourself, then that's what's best for you. If you can sleep comfortably on your back, your mind can rest while laying flat on the back, it feels safe, it feels good, then that's the best position too. Unfortunately, it's not a clear answer, but typically I always recommend sleeping on your back or sleeping on your side is the best. But according to research, sleeping on your stomach also has a lot of benefits too. Yes, ma'am, and I'll get you next. The bed you're sleeping in. The question is, can we discuss the bed you're sleeping in? Yes, and this is another tricky one. Do we like soft? Can I have hands for soft mattress? Oh, only one and a so-so. What about hard and firm mattress? Much more. Good. And then something in the middle. As I think. Yep, something in the middle. Now, unfortunately, the same concept applies where it really depends on person to person. Ideally, the best type of mattress is somewhat in the middle to firm. Middle and firm is typically the best. Part of that is because if the mattress is too soft, your body will sink into the mattress. And then, so again, pretending I'm laying on this side and I've got big hips, or let's say I have a big belly because I'm 8 months pregnant. Let's just throw the hypothetical there, right? Most of my weight is going to squish right into the bed. And then that's me walking around like this for a whole day. Not comfortable. So when we have a more firm mattress, it helps our body stay neutral, for sure. It's a good question. When you're sleeping on your back, and if you have respiratory issues like COPD, even snoring, one thing that can be really helpful is the mattresses that incline a little bit. I would talk to your doctor about it, especially if you have COPD, because sometimes if you can lift the mattress by even like 10 degrees, that'll also help with circulation. It'll help with breathing so that you can sleep through the night with breathing. Yes, ma'am. Oh, before, let me just get her first. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. So the question is, if you're sleeping on your side and your arm starts to bother you, it could be the bottom arm or it could be the top arm, and then you move to a different position that is more comfortable, you feel safe, and your mind can rest, will you wake up with a headache? Is that the question? The answer is most likely not. So your body telling you that your arms are bothering you while you're on your side, that's your body's way of telling you of, okay, we need to change the arm position because maybe it's compressing the nerves that are going down the arm. Maybe it's compressing the circulation going down the arms. So your body telling you like, okay, we need to change positions. This is not comfortable for us. That's a good thing. And then switching over to another position, maybe it's laying flat on your back or turning onto your side. That's your body way of saying, let's get into a slightly different position so that our body can feel better. And in the same way, if your neck is uncomfortable, your body will wake you up saying like, this is not comfortable for the neck, we need to change it. If we ignore everything and our body telling us all of these different signs, then there's a higher chance that you'll wake up with a headache. Yeah. You first and then you, okay? Go ahead.
No, I'm just concerned about the use of all these beds that we see that are advertised and everything. I mean, it's enough to make you crazy.
Absolutely.
I also wanna know, do you need two mattresses, like a box spring and then the mattress? So you need a step ladder to get in.
So the question is that it is very overwhelming that with all the mattresses that are out there now, there's different type of mattresses. There are mattresses that you need a second mattress to go onto the bottom, and then it feels like you're climbing into a ladder to just even get into the bed. How do we navigate this? I'm guessing is the question, which is a great question. Unfortunately, there's no good answer. I have never been one to say, get this brand. This is the best brand. Get this brand. I have never been that person. I don't think I will ever be, because everybody's needs are different. There are some mattress companies where you don't need a second mattress on the bottom, like a box spring. There are some mattress companies that say, nope, as long as it's a flat surface on the bed frame itself, you'll be good to go. So that's a little bit more company dependent. One thing I will say though, if you have a mattress that is about 20 years old, it's time to start shopping, unfortunately. So mattresses typically have a 20 to a 30-year lifespan. If you bought a mattress, let's say 5 years ago, and all of a sudden it's giving you all the back pain, all the neck pain in the world, I would recommend to see if you can go back to the mattress company to see if you can change it. That's a little bit harder. But if you do decide, okay, let me go mattress shopping, my best recommendation is make sure you have like a year warranty, or you have like 100-day warranty. Anything that gives you at least 2 months to test out the mattress, because sometimes you'll sleep great for 1 week and then horrible for the next week, and then you're back to normal. It's just a weird way of our bodies adjusting to something new. So if you decide, it's time for me to get a new mattress, the best thing I can say is make sure that you have some kind of warranty or guarantee for 100 years, 2 or 3 months. So that way, if you decide this is not the mattress for me, you can go back and then have them change the type of mattress. Yes, sir.
But I was going to say, I had one problem that a gastro doctor solved, but it caused a neck problem. And they ran through all kinds of tests, and they said, well, the solution is to sleep on your side with an elevated head. So I sleep on the side with an elevated head, and it helped the gastro. It hurt my neck. But I don't know, is it bad to sleep on your
Yeah.
side?
So this is a really great question. So the question is, and I'm going to rephrase it. So if I had a gastro procedure and I can't sleep on my side because it hurts the procedure that was done, so the doctor recommended lay on my side with my head up so that there's more space there. But then after a few days, my neck starts to bother me, but I can't sleep on my side because the procedure was done. And now we're in this cycle of I just can't get comfortable. If it's not this, it's that. Or if it's not either one, it's something else. It's a really important question because that will happen to all of us at some point in our life. The key thing here is the procedure. We want to let the procedure heal. So if we're sleeping this way for a while to let, our side heal, our gastro issues heal, once this is healed and you get the okay from the doctor, yep, this is healed, this looks good, go back. Yeah, go back. Sometimes even one thing that I have found really helpful too is if you had, let's say, a shoulder surgery, really common. You have a rotator cuff surgery, and now you're going to PT, and you're having pain when you're sleeping because you have to sleep on your right side because it hurts the left shoulder, those different specifics. I will often co-treat with physical therapy, so that way as one thing is healing, we can address the neck or we can address the back to prevent it from both of them getting irritated. So not a great answer, I know, but part of that is let that procedure heal, take care of the neck so that way you get back to a good normal. Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, ma'am. I'm just checking on, we have plenty of time. Go ahead. Yeah. 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 That's a great question. So the question is, do I recommend toppers? If I do recommend toppers, what type? Because some of them could be flammable and it could be a safety issues, and some of them, I'm assuming we don't want them to be a waste of our time. So with mattress toppers, I typically recommend them when the mattress you have is around 10 years old. So it's not new. The warranty has expired. We can't really return it. But it's not old enough yet to say, okay, let's invest in a new mattress. So when it's somewhere in the middle ground there, if you like the soft type of mattress and now the mattress is a little older, I recommend getting something a little bit firmer. So do the opposite of what your mattress is. If your mattress is soft, get a mattress topper that's a little bit more firm, so that way you have better support. If your mattress is really firm, like really hard, and you're just not sleeping comfortably, then I would recommend a topper that's a little bit softer, so that way you have some cushion, but you have the strong support underneath. Again, it ultimately depends on how old is your mattress. So I would say anything between 7 years old to 15 years old, I would say, yeah, get a topper, see if it helps you. However, don't break the bank. Get something that is relatively, that's affordable for you. Don't buy something super crazy expensive, but also don't buy a $10 one because it's probably not going to help you too. Is that fair? Good. Yes, ma'am. Ooh, I love this question. What are my thoughts and feelings about the travel neck pillows, those like semi-circle ones? That's a really great question. So, they can be really helpful when you are sleeping on the plane. Again, it depends on what position your neck and your body is. So if you like to sleep on the plane, I wish I had my neck pillow. If you reverse it, so that way, I know. So typically when you put the neck pillow on, right, the two sides are hanging by your chest here, or they clip right in front of you. If you turn it around so that the clip is on the back, that will be helpful. So if you fall asleep on the plane and your head falls forward, you have a cushion right there so that your head is not sinking forward. If your head falls to the side, then it has the cushion for the side. And if you fall back, no matter, because you have the headrest right on the back. It's very counterintuitive, but switch the neck pillow around so that way if you fall asleep and your head falls forward, you're still supported and you're not like this for 6 hours. Yeah, great question. Great question. Sometimes. So the question is, can you use that neck pillow while you're sleeping? So I know that I don't think they do it still, but in traditional Japanese culture, they use small pillows that go from the back of the head to the base of the neck here. And so it's a small device, it's about that big, and it is a semicircle, and that's what traditionally had been used as a support for the neck. Fast forward many hundreds of years forward, there are some Japanese cultures, some Asian cultures that will continue to use that style of neck pillow, which is very similar to the airplane pillow minus the side portions. So unfortunately, it depends. If you can feel safe, if your body feels comfortable, laying with only the support being right here on your neck, awesome, definitely. Most people don't feel comfortable with that. They need something to support the side of the head and the top of the head. And typically what happens is if you only have a support here and nothing else here, you're going to be sleeping like that for a while. And then your neck is going to be propped up like that for a while, which is not the most comfortable long term. And if you have respiratory issues, having your head kind of falling backwards might prevent from your sinuses to breathe. When I'm sleeping on a regular bed at home, I would use a regular pillow. If I'm laying on my side and my pillow is a little too flat, I would even use like a kitchen towel, have a small towel, place it underneath the pillow to give you a little bit of propped up. I think if you use the regular neck pillow, it's going to be too much pressure. But sometimes if it's just a little too flat, grabbing a kitchen towel to just give you an extra inch or two will do the trick. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. great question. The question is there anyone that should not and cannot pursue chiropractic services? I'm going to break that question into two parts. The first part being is, can everyone see a chiropractor? The answer is yes. Everyone can see a chiropractor. There are very little conditions, really no conditions that I cannot look with or work with you. The second part of that question is more of the adjustment. So I like more of the question, can everybody benefit from a traditional chiropractic adjustment? And the answer is no. So can everyone see a chiropractor? Yes. How I would treat certain conditions will be different for every individual person. The reason why I say that, for example, if someone is diagnosed with osteoporosis or osteopenia, where the bones are just weaker, they're more brittle, more susceptible to a fracture, let's say, the traditional adjustment just does not make sense to do. It'll be putting you more at risk. So there are alternative modes of treatment, doing gentle mobilizations, stretching the muscles a bit, working on range of motion. So there's more to the treatment than the adjustment alone, but not everybody qualifies to get the adjustment. Does that answer the question? Awesome. Any other questions there? Yes, sir. Last two questions, and then we'll close.
Off the topic, but I did have a rotating cuff surgery on the right side, and it was rather uncomfortable. I was wondering, is there anything that can be done if you have some pain on the left side, that a chiropractor can work with before rotator cuff surgery?
Absolutely. So with rotator cuff, yeah. So one of the biggest things for specifically rotator cuff issues is that the area of your middle back cannot move as well because your upper body, let me be more specific. Let's say I need to pick up this pen and put it over here. Whereas somebody with no shoulder issues, they can just pick it up, put it down. Someone with shoulder issues has to turn their body, put it down. So you're using more of your upper body to compensate because your shoulder can't do it by itself. So one of the things that chiropractors will address is your middle back area. Make sure that the muscles around the rotator cuff can address it so that way, big picture wise, health wise, nervous system wise, your mid back can move well. Exactly. Yep. Same thing with like turning your head while you drive. Most people will use their shoulders to turn, and that'll affect your upper body. So sometimes even addressing the middle back or the neck to help with that will help a lot too. Last question, and then I'll let you guys go. Before I take this last question, I really want to thank you all for being with me here today. It's so great seeing all of your shining faces. I have my cards up here in case you ever want to call. I have here a sign-in sheet. If you are okay if I take a picture, please circle yes. If you circle no, then I won't take a picture at all. Otherwise, thank you guys for coming. I do also have brochures in case you want to take something for your family. I'll take this last question, but in case people need to leave, thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you. Okay, the last question. Absolutely. So the question / comment here is getting out of bed. When we have an issue getting out of bed, sometimes when we get up too fast, we can feel dizzy. Sometimes we're just like the vertigo, the inner ear, like that can get affected. So one of the best things that I always recommend, I'm going to tell you a great way to get out of bed to help decrease neck and back pain. The first thing you want to do is turn to your side. Pretending I'm sleeping on my back, you're going to turn to your side. That's step one. The next step is I want you to be close to the edge of the bed so that way when you swing your legs off the bed, you can use your arm to help prop you up. So on your back, turn to your side. And if you're dizzy with that motion, hang out there for a few seconds. Let the dizziness subside. And then use your legs to fall down, push your arms up, and just sit. Sit on your bed for a few seconds. That's a great moment right there when you're just sitting in bed to start moving your neck, right? Maybe open your chest a little bit, get a nice little stretch before you even, all right, time to stand up. So getting out of bed, even how we get out of bed, may be an indicator of how we even start our day with our neck pain or our back pain. So even taking like small steps like that, if you're laying on your stomach, turn to your side. If you're on your side, fantastic, you're ahead of the game. Slowly help yourself push up, swing your legs down, just sit down for a second. Move your back, touch your toes if you need to, do a little stretch, and then you can stand up, start your day. Absolutely. Thank you all so much. I'll be up here in case there are any other questions, okay?